Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon I bid to all of you. My name is Mohamad Yusri. So today I'm gonna present about individual case study. Question 1. The consequences of pandemic even are hard to be predict, says Corey Kos, Senior Director Analyst of Adidas. However, the risk always exists and augmented with further globalization and integration of supply chain, discussed with suitable example. For the intro, when a disease spreads over numerous countries or continents, it is called a pandemic. It was a greater effect and killed more people than an pandemic. When it's become evident that the illness was severe and spreading quickly across a largest area in the World Health Organization, also called WHO, proclaimed COVID-19 is a pandemic. It has expanded global since first appearance in China in December 2019, leading in a pandemic that is still underway. The pandemic has caused widespread social economy and including social isolation and also travel restriction. Retail is one of the biggest sectors are affected by pandemic COVID-19. The separate of products, technology, information, and job across national border and culture is known as globalization. The first point is risk on pandemic to the retailer. Pandemic COVID-19 has worked catastrophe on people lifestyle and economic activity, with retail being one of the most hit. People's consumption habits have changed dramatically as a result of the different lockdown. Notably, the quick acceleration and broad acceptance of e-commerce because of the constraints on movement favor individual visited brick and mortar store and instead of just to online shopping. Just-in-time supply chain with about the cost and efficiency now has addressed these new threats. It is not an option to fail to do so. For the company who survive and expand, it needs supply chain that robust, durable, and adaptive. For the example, the pandemic hit hard the night distribution, third-party manufacturing, and logistic operation. For 2020, net income before taxes fell by 40% over the prior year to $2.9 billion according to the July annual report. Increasing of inventory costs and also other of the end of fiscal in 2019. Other than that, it also risks on globalization to the retailer. The globalization tendency of the integrating and socializing the global society, as well as formation of preferential trade agreement and grouping of NAFTA and European Union. With brought together more nations in a single market, provide major market prospect of businesses to expect of the trend of the contribute to the globalization business operation are progressive reduction of the trade and foreign investment varies by most government, which is late intent of opening the new market by international companies. Other than that, it also the advancement of computing and communication technology has allowed for the greatest flow of ideas and information across national border, allowing customers to be exposed to items from across the world. This is because of the quick flow of the information. The internet and networking have enabled smaller businesses to compete internationally, independent of the seller or buyer's physical location. For the example, it is McDonald's had 39,198 fast food restaurants in 119 countries and territories, according its Security and Exchange Commission filing at the end year 2020. Its employer more than 2.2 billion people at the time, Eileen said. My third point is risk in online business. This is because the risk of getting a virus during the pandemic COVID-19, customers now choose to satisfy their daily necessities online rather than in a brick-mortar establishment. Shopping online offers a unique setting, ambience. Online transactions have largest risk on ethical infraction than face-to-face transaction. As a result, during pandemic COVID-19, the study was conducted into the impact of the perceived health risk and customer perception on online retail ethics on customer online shopping behavior, involving 7 variables. So the 7 variables is perceived health risk, security, privacy, non-deception, reliability, fulfillment, service recovery, and online shopping behavior. Information was gathered through the online survey administered to the customer who purchased online during pandemic COVID-19. For the example, in Indonesia, using a purposive sampling approach, SAM-AMOS, was used to collect 315 valid replies and evaluate them quantitatively. The finding revealed that online buying behavior was influenced by the perceived health risk and 4 characteristics of online retail ethics, including security, privacy, reliability, fulfillment, and also service recovery. For the last point, question number 1 is risk on physical store. Employees on front lines of physical stores serve a link between the company and its customers. The COVID-19 pandemic has had varying effect the different retail sector in 2020. Some have had their worst outcome. In addition, because of the COVID-19 epidemic, there was no further training for frontline workers. We conclude that while frontline staff are not involved in official decision making, they can express their concern to their superiors. We also came to the conclusion that managerial support is critical when putting frontline staff. Maxis outlets have seen a rise in sales. The goals of the reserve station was look at the issues of the front lines personnel and shop manager believe that they are facing in the retail store environment during the COVID-19 epidemic. Semi-structured interviews were performed at an ICA Maxi shop in south of the Sweden's investigate these difficulties. Conclusion: globalization is beneficial to your supply chain, your business, and the globe at large for the better and worse. True, globalization put your firms at danger, but it's only you don't take action out to protect your supply chain from the worst of the consequences. Because of the advantage of the globalization of your company must exceed the risk. Flow space is a solution to your supply chain requirement for a competitive edge in a marketplace. We are provide month-to-month store space, cool storage, pick and pack, and also a free management system and no long-term obligation as a country's premium on the demand, warehousing, and fulfillment service. Without wasting any more time, let's move to question number 2. The question is, the pandemic has forced retail executives to mount urgent effort to adapt their supply chain, whether by the receiving their purchase order and merchandising plan or by relocating all the kinds of the resource such as working capital, inventory, employers, transport capacity, and other than that, discuss with suitable example. For the introduction, retailers have increased their effort to deliver better commodities to customers while also protecting the health and well-being of the communities they serve as a coronavirus outbreak spread and its humanitarian. effort growth. The pandemic's far-reaching consequences have weighed at a health and also well-being of the employees and imperial livelihood and economic lifelines in many communities, posing particular concern in global retail supply chain. Retailers are increasingly taking exceptional precaution to ensure that items react shop shelf and customer doorstep. To reduce a crisis short-term effect, supply chain executives are increased openness and developing rapid response capabilities. In a piece, we will look at a 5-step retailers are taking address of COVID-19's immediately problem for supply chain employees. There are several efforts to adapt their supply chain. Firstly, we have to ensure that the demand for supplier. For certain merchants, rising demand for non-directionary items has resulted in network-wide stock-out. Retailers are working closely with the companies throughout their supply base, including customer packaged goods or we call CPG markers, distributor, and co-manufacturers in a response to the drop in the shelf availability. Categories captains are meeting with crucial suppliers on regular basis to discuss ideas for ensuring the adequate supply of essential high demand commodities for the most significant product categories. This is the first and most important priority for merchants in the food and mass future deposit modeling, or we call FDM categories, is to provide the consistent and timely supply. Retailers are taking a number of measures in this direction. The second point, we have to redirect inventory in the merchandising process. Retailers will need to cascade adjustment across their purchasing, planning, and inventory management system as they recalibrate their product orders align with customer demand. In the case of the non-directionary items, retailers are altering their purchasing strategy to prioritize high demand items and direct more inventory to place where sales are particularly strong. For the example, category teams are major retailers as relocated shelf space for the canned product and collaborating closely with the supplier to prioritize availability, replenishment, speed above promotion. Some directionary goods merchandising moves are similar to essential good merchandising action. Other than that, increasing capacity in a secure manner. The supply chain sector of distribution, when its demand trends for non-discretionary and discretionary items start to converge considerably. Some corporations have resigned current staff to increase capacity in non-discretionary areas where goods sales the faster. Some retailers have temporarily transferred office workers to distribution center and undertake tasks such as operation forklift, as well as hiring individuals from the discretionary goods industry of a demand as lower. For example, a local grocery store has been hiring fulfillment specialists from others retail industry affected hard by the crisis, such as fashion and home finishing. The grocery store is quickly retraining these new employees to help with a pick and pack operation from the online orders delivery. Keeping distribution center employees healthy during a pandemic necessitates additional and require precaution. Next is balance, agility, and flexibility in logistics. Maintaining logistic flexibility is more important than ever before the limiting disruption to key service. The spike in demand for the non-discretionary products is gradually exceeds capacity. Example, in March 2020, trucking demand in the United States grows by 150% year over year. Freight expenses have also risen, with spot rates increased by double-digit percentage from February to March. The outbound tender rate reject index has also grown by 20%, showing carriers are rejected constructed price and instead selling capacity on the spot market. In this constrained climate, the best merchant can aspire for the enough capacity of reliably get key commodities in short shelf. So lastly, we also need to ensure that your orders are delivered on time. During the coronavirus epidemic, self-isolation, quarantines, and stay-at-home orders are contributed the significant increase in non-discretionary products, online shopping, and local delivery, bringing large quantities of deliveries to customers' doorstep and changing their retail seat on allowing curbside pickup are not minor adjustment. Retailer of non-discretionary items and demonstrating that they can make this change more successful by following a few guidelines. One option is the extend delivery window from the same day to the 2 or 3 days. This allow merchant to stream delivery scheduling. This allow merchant streamline delivery scheduling and routing, allow deliveries in the same areas to be grouped together and sent out in a single round of drop off by the same driver, saving time and miles. This method also allow retailer to be more flexible. For the conclusion, the coronavirus outbreak is primarily an humanitarian problem. Retailers have been ensuring that their employees' life and livelihood are protected. It is a difficult task, but their objectives are clear. Retail supply chain executive can ensure that customer can buy the things they need while guarding the health and safety of the both customer and supply chain employees if they respond creatively and resourcefully to the epidemic. Furthermore, the insight learned during this difficult period might assist business in making their supply network more robust. Next catastrophe may be no less unexpected, but with the correct strategies in place, it may avoid creating a much devastation. I think that's all from my presentation. I hope you understand, and that's all from me. Thank you.